Hi, I'm Mike, founder of GoodBed.com. Today we're excited to be here to review the newly released version of the Casper Mattress. Some of you may know that we had previously reviewed the version of the mattress that they released in mid-2016. However, they've made a few changes, a few updates to the model since then. So we're excited to be here now to review this newest version of the mattress, which Casper released in early 2017. Thanks for joining us. One of the first things you need to know about any mattress is just how firm or soft is it. And in the case of the Casper mattress, we would characterize this as a medium firm softness level, meaning just to the firmer side of medium. In reviewing the previous mattress, we also characterized that as a medium firm, and it's worth noting that this version does feel a little bit softer to us than the previous version, but it wasn't quite enough of a difference that we would change it to being a straight up medium. We'd still characterize it as a medium firm. So now let's dive into the details of what's actually in this mattress. And the Casper mattress is still a 10-inch mattress, as it always has been. And as you can see here, it still has 4 layers, just as the model before this did, the one that was released in mid-2016. And there are a couple of differences, but before we cover those, let's just go through what the layers are. The top layer is a 1.5-inch layer of what they call a springy comfort foam, which is a polyurethane foam with a 3.5-pound density that definitely does have quite a bit of bounce to it for a polyurethane foam. The next layer below that is a 1.5-inch layer of 3.5-pound density memory foam, which definitely has that slow responsiveness that memory foam is known for, although by memory foam standards, it's not super slow at all. And the next layer below that is a 1.5-inch transition layer of 2.5-pound density polyurethane foam, which is much firmer than either of these top 2 layers because it's meant to kind of ease the transition into this bottom layer, which is a 5-inch layer of polyurethane foam in a 1.8-pound density. That is your firmest layer, and that is providing really the bulk of the support in the mattress. So essentially, these 2 layers up here are the softest, and they're providing your comfort and your pressure relief principally. And this layer is here to sort of bridge the gap between these 2 so that you don't, as you sink into the mattress, land directly on this firmest layer here. You want to have something to kind of ease that transition. So that's the general construction. In terms of the differences or how this has changed, there are a couple things. The most notable of which is that this top layer in the previous version was latex. And now it has been replaced with this springy comfort foam. And we'll talk a little bit more in the responsiveness section about what we think kind of the impact of that is, which is subtle, but because this is pretty springy, but we generally do think that latex still has a little bit more bounce than this. So we'll get into more detail about that. And the other difference is just that this memory foam in the previous version was a 4-pound density, and now it's a 3.5-pound density. And then one thing that has not changed in the construction is that all of this is still wrapped in this really nice cover that Casper has always used, which is very sturdy and well built. The side panel in particular is quite thick and robust relative to some of its online competitors. But also we really like this top layer, which has a softness as well as a thickness to it, and just a really kind of a nice feel to it. So nice that they kept that, and that's been pretty much unchanged from the previous versions. So now let's get into the 2 things that absolutely everybody must get from their mattress, which are back support and pressure relief. And to demonstrate this, I'm going to get down on my back here. And this, I'm going to start with this position because this is the position that I personally spend the predominance of the night in. And just for context, I'm about 6 feet tall, not quite 200 pounds. And what I want you to see here is that my spine in this position is in a really perfectly neutral position, meaning basically the same curvature as my spine has when I'm standing. The mattress is doing a nice job reaching up into this lumbar curve in my back to support that, while allowing my hips to sink just a little bit into the mattress so that the overall shape of my spine is in the proper neutral position. I think this would be generally the case for back sleepers of a pretty wide weight range, very wide in fact. I definitely think mattress is in general a good support match for back sleepers in general. I think similarly, if I were to switch over to my stomach, you can see that where a lot of mattresses run into trouble in this position is with the hips sinking too far into the mattress. And that's actually not happening here. It's kind of a combination of the medium firmness with not having an overtly large amount of cushioning depth. It allows even your heaviest part, which is your hips, to not be sinking too far into the mattress. So I really think this similarly is a very good match for a stomach sleeper. And one smaller point as it relates to stomach sleepers is just pressure relief in terms of like your knees or your elbows. Definitely the top surface of this mattress is more than sufficient to provide pressure relief in those areas for a stomach sleeper. So in general, I think stomach sleepers would be pretty well matched for this mattress, and even more so than a lot of other options. Where I do have some concerns is as it relates to side sleepers. As I sit on this mattress on my side, what you can see here is that my shoulders are not quite sinking down so much that my spine is in that neutral position. I mean, when you're on your side, the neutral position is basically just horizontal. In this case, the top of my spine is up a little bit because my shoulders aren't sinking down quite enough into the mattress to keep it totally horizontal. It's not something that caused me any issues on this mattress, partly because I don't spend the majority of the night in this position. But I do just have some concerns, particularly for people who are lighter than me, that this could just be a bit of a problem, especially if you're lighter and also curvier than me, that your pointy parts wouldn't kind of push down enough into the mattress to keep you in that proper neutral position. As far as pressure relief goes, the position that we generally spend the most time talking about pressure relief is on your side, because this is the position in which your body's weight is distributed over the smallest surface area. Particularly, you're likely to feel pressure points in your shoulders and your hips, if there are any, because these areas are bearing a disproportionate amount of your weight and they poke into the mattress the most. What I could say is, again, like for me personally, as a predominantly back sleeper, I didn't experience any pressure points on this mattress, and I generally think the pressure relief is pretty good. Where I have any concerns, or where I would have concerns, if any, it would be with regards to someone significantly heavier than me, who is also a side sleeper and or has pointier, curvier points than me, where it's possible that you would start to sink through these top two layers into that much firmer third layer, or even if you're much heavier than me, into that base layer, where you could experience some pressure points because you're basically would be getting your pressure relief from some of those firmer layers down below. For me, at my weight, I don't think I definitely think I'm well into that second layer, but I'm still getting some pressure relief from that memory foam in that layer. I don't think I'm bottoming out on that layer quite yet. I definitely feel on this mattress something that was is reminiscent of the previous version of the Casper mattress that we reviewed, where you get into a position and there's an extra delayed memory effect, because it takes even like a second, maybe actually more like 3 or 4 seconds, for the heat of your body to permeate that top 1.5 inches and start to affect the memory foam. So that memory foam always has a delayed effect, but in this case, almost a little bit more delayed effect, because it takes a little longer for the heat of your body to reach it. So, but when you feel that memory effect is when you kind of can sense some of the pressure relief that's happening there. So overall, I would say this mattress's pressure relief is pretty good, but I do worry a little bit about someone who's much heavier and or curvier than me, possibly experiencing some pressure points. Next, let's get into some of the features or characteristics of the mattress that are more preference-based. And the first thing we're going to start with is responsiveness, which is the degree to which the mattress has more of that memory feel on the one hand, or bounciness on the other hand. And that really is kind of a spectrum. There is no better or worse. It's just about your personal preference. And what we can say about this mattress is it definitely falls somewhere in the middle, like all the previous versions of the Casper have. I would say though that this one, relative to the last version of the Casper, has just a little tiny bit less of that memory feel. I wouldn't say that it's bouncier per se, but maybe it falls just a little bit more just towards that sort of dead middle of that spectrum. And I think the reason for that has to do with the fact that the memory foam that they've used in this version is, I think, a little bit faster responding memory foam than the previous version. We showed you the responsiveness of that memory foam in the previous, one of the previous sections. So you could see that it's not nearly as slow responding memory foam as a lot of stuff that's out there. So overall, it creates a little bit less memory feel, but definitely nowhere near as bouncy as an inner spring mattress. But definitely doesn't feel anything like what I would describe as like a memory foam mattress. It's somewhere right kind of in the middle. We're going to just demonstrate a little bit the responsiveness. We're going to use this 16-pound bowling ball. And I'm just going to drop it for you here. We've done this in other videos, so you could just kind of compare the amount of bounce we get. It's fairly typical of a lot of these all foam mattresses. I mean, when you drop a 16-pound bowling ball, a lot of what you're measuring is the responsiveness of like 3 or 4 inches down, which starts to get into the a little bit of memory foam, a little bit of the polyurethane foam. When I do this on the very top, you know, putting about maybe, let's say 3 to 5 pounds of pressure, I'm really just measuring the responsiveness principally of that top layer, which is very bouncy. It's that kind of what they call bouncy comfort foam. So it's not latex, but it's anymore, but it's latex-like in its sort of feel, at least. And then when I were to go drop my whole body on the mattress like that, you see very little bounce. What you're measuring there is really just the responsiveness of the underlying support layer, which in this case is a block of polyurethane foam. So what we call deep bounce, there's really very little of that, as there would be, for example, in an inner spring mattress. So again, overall, this mattress really falls right in the middle of the spectrum as it relates to responsiveness. The next criteria we're going to discuss is cushioning depth. And again, this is one of those properties that's very preference-based, meaning there is no better or worse. It's just about what you like better. And we want to give you a sense of basically how deep you're going to sink into the mattress. And of course, this is going to depend on your weight, your body shape, even your sleep position. But what we can say in general is that the Casper is fairly close to the middle on this particular criteria, but a little bit towards the shallower side of the cushioning depth spectrum. And so if you're someone who's looking for that feeling of really sleeping in your mattress or being hugged by your mattress, like you might get on a fluffy pillow top or one of those really deep memory foam type mattresses, this probably isn't going to be the right fit for you. But if you're someone who prefers to more float on top of your mattress, then this is going to be a much better fit for you. And so we're just going to also try to illustrate this point with this bowling ball, which we've used in other videos to kind of give you a little frame of reference. But overall, you could see that it's you know, the bowling ball sinks in a little bit, but not nearly as deep as on some other mattresses. Another characteristic that we can illustrate with this bowling ball is motion isolation, which you may know is how well does the mattress prevent one person on this side of the mattress, let's say, from being disturbed by motion or disturbances over on this side of the mattress. So to illustrate that, we're just going to drop this bowling ball right down here and keep our eyes on that bowling pin and see what happens. Now Now, as you can see here, the bowling pin does move. And if you've watched some of our other review videos, you recognize that this bowling pin's moving a little bit more than some of the other all foam mattresses we've tested. I'll just jump down on it. In fact, that one seemed like it moved even a little bit less. And of course, if I were really trying not to disturb my dear, dear partner here, I would be a little bit more considerate in terms of how I got into bed than I just was. So overall, the motion isolation on this mattress is pretty good. But I just want to explain briefly why you're seeing the bowling pin move at all, when in the case of most all foam mattresses, the motion isolation is going to be kind of off the charts outstanding. And that actually has to do with this top layer here, this cover, which is a stretchy cover, but it's also very taut. And I put this ring here just to illustrate the point that I can move the ring by just pressing down slowly over here on the other side of the mattress. And what's happening here is this mattress, this is illustrating the sort of low point elasticity of this mattress. As I press down here, all the way over here is affected, and even all the way over here starts to already go down. A mattress with high point elasticity would have really the hole I would create would be steeper. And so the lower point elasticity in this case is actually causing this top surface of the mattress, at least the cover and maybe also that top 1.5 inch layer of bouncy comfort foam, to be kind of pulled a little bit by the pressure here. And that's actually what's causing the disturbance, which is very different and a much more minimal amount of disturbance than you would get on, let's say, like a classic connected coil, old school inner spring mattress, where in that case the disturbance would be transferred by that underlying support layer where you would jump down and they would fly up. That's not what's happening here. So if motion isolation is something that's of critical importance to you, there are certainly other mattresses that might be a better option for you, but overall this is pretty good. One thing that can be a concern for some people, particularly on a mattress that has some memory foam in it, is ease of repositioning. And we just want to just touch briefly on this and let you know that really ease of repositioning is not something that we would expect to be a problem on the Casper mattress. Like its predecessor version, the slightly shallower cushioning depth, the slightly firmer than average feel, the slightly less memory feel than a lot of other memory foam mattresses, all that contributes to this being a very easy mattress to move around on. Another consideration for some mattress shoppers is sleeping hot. And this can be a particular concern for mattresses that have memory foam in them, like this one does. So we wanted to just touch on that briefly, and what we can say about the Casper in this regard is really two things. Number one, the memory foam in this mattress is down a layer. So relative to how a traditional memory foam mattress is constructed, we think that the memory foam has less potential to create those overheating issues in this case than it does in those other cases. The second thing we can say is tangentially related to that, which is one of the things that creates heat issues in a traditional memory foam mattress is the degree to which it conforms precisely to your body. We described earlier in this video how this mattress has a bit shallower than average cushioning depth, as well as that lower point elasticity that we demonstrated, which together create a dynamic where the mattress is coming down more gradually to your body's curves, which means that more of your body's surface area is exposed to the air and thereby allowed to more efficiently dispel heat. So overall, what we would say is if you're someone for whom overheating is like a known issue, you've definitely experienced it in the past on a lot of different mattresses, then there are certainly mattresses out there that have features that really are more guaranteed to mitigate overheating type issues. For example, mattresses that are made almost entirely of springs are going to have a lot more airflow and things like that. However, for most people, we would not expect the Casper mattress to be one where you're likely to encounter overheating issues. Another characteristic that can be important to some people is edge support. So we always like to look at this in each of our reviews, and this is an area where an all foam mattress like this tends to not excel, and I would say this probably is not a particular exception to that rule. As you see here, while I sit on the edge, there's quite a bit of dip here, although typical of this type of mattress construction. But I'm going to also just flip around and lay down on the mattress, and I always like to get my shoulder blade right on the edge of the mattress just to be consistent across these things. And what I could say here is that I'm relatively stable at the moment, but then as the heat of my body reaches that memory foam layer and activates it, I can definitely sense there's a little bit of like a lean here developing, and I'm starting to move closer to feeling like I'm gonna maybe roll off the edge here. Now, of course, the average person is not going to be wanting to sleep in this position, but we just test this to give you a sense of how various mattresses differ on this dimension. And I would say that in general, this version of the Casper mattress doesn't quite feel like it has as much edge support as the previous version, but again, probably not going to be a big difference for most people unless edge support happens to be a critical consideration for you. Another priority for some mattress shoppers is the degree to which the mattress contains natural materials, or maybe just the degree to which it lacks harmful chemicals. And what we can say about the Casper is natural materials are not really part of the story here with the Casper mattress. However, what they have done is each of the foam layers in this mattress have been certified to the CertiPure standard, which is a standard that measures the presence of, as well as the off-gassing of a litany of possible harmful materials, and it ensures that they do not exceed some minimally acceptable threshold. So in the case of the Casper mattress, that is something that you can take comfort in this regard. Another important consideration when you're buying a mattress online is return policy, because in most cases you're not going to be able to try this mattress before you buy it. In the case of Casper, they offer 100 nights free trial with 100% refund if for whatever reason you don't like it, which is a very generous return policy. And in fact, they deserve a lot of credit for really pioneering this generous return policy to the point where it has almost become like the standard in the online mattress industry. But where I would say that Casper goes even above and beyond some of their competitors, particularly the smaller guys who can't necessarily afford to do this, is that they will also come and pick up the mattress from you in the event that you do decide that it's not right for you, which definitely can help reduce some of the hassle of returning the mattress versus other competitors who might ask that you find a place to accept it as a donation or what have you and get it there yourself, which depending on where you live and your situation could be add some complexity to that process. So overall, we would say that Casper's return policy is one for which they deserve a lot of credit and one from which you can take a lot of reassurance as a shopper. Another consideration for just about every mattress shopper is value. When we think about value, we always think about what does it cost, what's in it, and how long do we think it's going to last. And in terms of the Casper mattress, there's also been a few things that have changed since our last review. So we just wanted to touch upon those for a little context. The first of those is that they replaced this top 1.5 inches of latex with what they call a springy comfort foam. This new material is a good material. It's a 3.5 pound density, which for a polyurethane foam is good. That being said, I do miss the latex insofar as latex just has this very proven history of durability and longevity. And so although it is a bit pricey, I miss its presence in this mattress. That being said, they, by removing the latex, also alleviated any possible concerns from latex allergy sufferers. So in that respect, they probably did broaden the appeal of the mattress. So there are pros and cons on each side of that. The second thing they did was they changed the memory foam in the mattress from a 4 pound density to a 3.5 pound density. a small change, but since it was a change, we thought we'd mention it. And the third thing that changed is that the price went from $850 in a queen size to $950 in a queen size. And that's before the GoodBed discount would be applied. So when you take those things together, what we can say is that the Casper mattress is not as good a value as it used to be. That being said, we still do think it is an okay value for a couple reasons. Number one, you're still getting, for $950, a 10-inch mattress that is very well built. I mean, this is a well-constructed mattress. And in terms of the materials, let's start from the bottom. You have a 1.8 pound density support layer, which is solid. You then have a 2.5 pound density transition layer, which is also solid. And you have this top layer of 3.5 pound density polyurethane foam, which is definitely solid. And if there's any concern I have, it's with this memory foam layer being 3.5 pounds, which is a little on the lower side as memory foam goes. That being said, there's only 1.5 inches of it, and it is 1.5 inches deep in the mattress. So since it's surrounded by some other good materials, I don't expect that to be enough to cause real problems with this mattress, particularly not for people who are, say, under 250 pounds or so. So all in all, I think that this mattress should hold up fairly well. And it certainly represents a good value relative to a lot of options that you're going to find in a local store at this price point. And the other thing to add is that relative to its online competitors, we've definitely seen that since the price increase happened from Casper, some of their largest competitors in particular have followed suit with their own price increases. So on a relative basis, they've sort of stayed at parity with those players, of course. So that again sort of reinforces the value of the Casper. What I think that in general you're tending to see here in this space as it relates to value is that a company like Casper is able to charge a little bit more because of the fact that they have differentiated themselves, distinguished themselves as one of those companies that is most likely to be around in the long term. And in the online space, I think that's something that you can take some reassurance from and maybe worth a bit of a premium. So all in all, what we would say is that Casper remains an okay value. So just to sum up some of the things we've covered here in this video, the Casper is a 10-inch all-foam mattress that does have some memory foam in it, but by no means is representative of that traditional memory foam mattress experience. We talked about how this is a great match for most stomach sleepers, as well as most back sleepers. We talked about how side sleepers who are at either end of the weight extreme, and particularly those who are on the curvier side, might need to watch out for potential pressure relief or spinal alignment issues. We talked about how if you're someone for whom edge support is a critical consideration, then this probably isn't the optimal mattress for you. However, if you're someone who likes that medium firm feel, meaning just to the firmer side of medium, and who likes a slightly shallower cushioning depth that gives you more of that feeling of floating on top of the mattress rather than sinking into the mattress or being hugged by your mattress. And if you're someone who doesn't really want a lot of that slow responding memory feel, nor do you want a mattress that's particularly bouncy, then this could be a great fit for you. We do think that the Casper is a very well-made mattress from a company that has become virtually synonymous with online mattresses, and that has a very fun brand. So we do think that if the criteria and considerations that we described in this video feel like a good match for you, then we do think the Casper mattress is one that you should consider. So we hope you found this video helpful in deciding whether the new Casper mattress is right for you. If you're still not sure though, we recommend that you go to goodbed.com and take our mattress match quiz, which you can find right up in the header of any page of our website. This quiz basically will walk you through every criteria and consideration that we covered in this video, and ultimately will show you the matches that are best for you both online as well as in the local stores in your area. And once you've taken the quiz, you can also navigate to any product page on our website and find your personal match score for that product. So we really think this is a helpful resource that you ought to take advantage of. But that's it. We thank you for watching, and we really hope you sleep well.